Hey, what's up, noobs? It's the Dead Noob. So why do players express so much hate at a game and then return to play it time after time? Where does the entertainment end and the work on the game begin? And why do people believe that a game or the devs will change the experience, patch after patch, DLC after DLC, season after season, and they experience the same play? So now I'm going to get into the dichotomy of gamers who hate the game, but they can't stop playing it. So you ever notice how some gamers talk about their favorite game like it's their ex? I hate this game. This game is trash. Why do I even play this anymore? Followed immediately by launching the game for the 600th hour this month. Well, today I'm going to go ahead and dive into one of the strangest and most psychologically revealing contradictions in gaming culture. Why gamers keep playing games they claim they hate. This isn't just about Battlefield, Call of Duty, Destiny, Tarkov, or whatever flavor of digital self-harm is trending this month. It's about the human brain, identity, community, and the weird emotional economics of modern gaming. So strap in, you're in for a hell of a ride. So I'll start off with this part. The paradox of hate playing. Gamers just don't dislike a game, they hate play it. Hate playing is when you log into a game specifically to complain about it. It's when the game becomes a ritual, not a choice. It's when the frustration is the point. And here's the kicker. Hate playing is not irrational. It's actually the result of several predictable psychological mechanisms that keep players locked in. So let's go ahead and break them down, shall we? So to start things off, we'll get into sunk cost trap. So what is the sunk cost fallacy? Well, it's time, money, and effort already spent that cannot be recovered. And developers crave this because it leads to retention. You're going to keep coming back because you've already wasted so much time, money, and effort into learning a game and its mechanics in order to try and be better. The thing is the developers keep moving the goalpost. It's intentional because retention is king. Hundreds of hours grinding, dozens of DLCs, the cosmetics, the battle passes, your friend groups are still there. It's muscle memory. Entire YouTube channels are built around this, continually complaining about a game they play for decades. Hours of time spent playing the same title over and over, complaining about the same broken mechanics, only to turn around and relaunch that game again. Hell, even some channels have quit playing the game completely and they still complain about it as if they just launched it yesterday. So when you've invested that much time, quitting feels like you're admitting defeat. So instead of leaving, players double down. They'll say the game used to be good. It can be good again, or they just need to fix X, Y, and Z, and it'll be right back to where it was. But what they're really saying is I've put too much time into this to walk away. And my personal favorite, I just want the game to get better. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to complain as much as possible in hopes that the devs listen to me and they change something. When reality hits and nothing ever changes, they'll complain for a year about a title. Nothing ever changes. They'll complain for 2 years about the same title. And yet again, nothing ever changes. Once again, I ask people, what is the definition of insanity? Well, it's repeating the same behavior, expecting the outcome to be different. So where are we really standing on it? It's a fallacy and they plan on it. All right, we'll move along. And for this next part, I'm going to get into familiarity. Humans crave it, even if it's bad and it hurts. So a broken game you understand is still more comfortable than a game you don't. I mean, people will sink hundreds of hours into games that they absolutely unequivocally hate simply because it's comfortable. So if somebody is stuck playing Call of Duty for years, they're not going to jump over to Arc Raiders initially because they don't understand it. They don't want to go from what is an arcade shooter to an extraction shooter. I was stuck in this for a while with Call of Duty, and it finally broke me. I had enough. I moved on. I started playing different games. I started playing The Division, and I got stuck in that one. And then I finally moved on and went to Tarkov, and now I play 4 or 5 different games simply because I did not want to repeat that same pattern again. But I also had to figure something out. I had to learn new games. So that means I was a noob again. I was getting stomped, getting my butt kicked. And it happens. I was a beginner. I had to lean into people that knew something about the game and try to associate myself with them. I didn't know any metas. I didn't even know if there were metas because some games just don't have them. I didn't know the maps, that's for sure. So there was an uncomfortable time when I had to figure things out. I didn't have the correct loadouts because different games require different things and different mechanics, so you got to load properly. I didn't have any friends in the game. Making friends is not necessarily an easy or hard thing. It is what it is. My community wasn't there anymore. And I didn't have a sense of identity. Well, that's more of a me problem than a game problem, though. So where do players fit in with all this? Well, they'll stay where they are because they don't want to go somewhere else and learn something new. Even if they're miserable, they'll stick around. It's the gaming equivalent of staying at a job you hate because at least you know how to do it and you're familiar there. So you'll stick around. That's the problem. People will do this on a consistent and constant basis and then complain consistently about it. Community addiction. And here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Most gamers don't play games. They get played by the game. Well, that's kind of half true, but they play their communities. And what I mean by that is they don't play just the game, they're there for the community. Not that they're playing them, but that they're playing because of them. The game is just the meeting place. So your squad, your clan, your Discord, well, it's your nightly ritual with the boys, right? Maybe it's your streamer chat if you're a streamer, or your identity on YouTube as the guy who plays, Call of Duty or Tarkov or Arc Raiders. If you change up the game in your algorithm, well, then YouTube doesn't know where to put you, and it starts burying your videos, especially if you don't have enough subscribers. So if you're under a certain threshold, well, YouTube doesn't know what to do with you, so it does nothing, and your videos don't get pushed out. I happen to be in that threshold, so I have to take a lot of my old videos and bury them because the algorithm loses me and doesn't know who to push my stuff to. It is what it is. I'm not hating, just a fact of life. So if you leave the game, you risk losing the community attached to it. So players will stay, not for the game necessarily, but for the people in the community they've built around it. This is inherently true for streamers and YouTubers. That's why they stay where they're at. So I understand when people get frustrated and start hating on a game but turn around and play it. And that's why you'll hear someone say, this game sucks, but my community's here. My friends are here. The people I grew up with still play this game, so I do too. I'm very guilty of this. When it came to Black Ops 6, I didn't want it, but I played it simply because the people that I knew and worked with played it too. At this point, I hated Call of Duty, and I still do. It changed. It became something else, but I played it because my friends were there. My coworkers were there. And even though I didn't really truly enjoy it, I waited for them to leave, which took about 2 months, and then they bailed out, so I did too. But that's just how it is. So when someone says this game sucks, but my friends are on it, that sentence alone will explain half of gaming psychology. They don't stay for the game. Hell, they'll hate it, but they'll turn around and play it simply because their friends are there. The next part would be the rage reward loop. This is where things get a little dark. Games are designed to trigger dopamine spikes, not dopamine consistency, meaning you'll get small, unpredictable rewards surrounded by frustration. Oh, that's the same reward pattern used in slot machines, loot boxes, social media, gambling sites, gotcha systems. The brain becomes addicted to the possibility of the reward, not the reward itself. So when you're sitting there opening up the next loot box that you've randomly acquired for doing X, Y, or Z, you know that you're being manipulated. The game is doing it intentionally. The most addictive games are the free-to-play ones. Those are the ones with the highest percentage of the loot boxes and the gotcha systems, because they have to be able to make their money somehow, so they'll sell anything and everything they possibly can, from skins to material to any type of advantage the game can give in order to keep you coming back. Let's take Star Trek Fleet Command, for instance. Lots of loot boxes in that one. Lots of pay to win, but it is a free-to-play game. It's very guilty of this. Hell, I think Scopely, the creators of the game, are probably guilty of a lot of that. And the other company, Tencent, they're very guilty of it. Well, any free-to-play game typically is. That's how they run it. The ones that I get typically frustrated with are the AAA studios that do it, like DICE or Activision. Any of those guys. I mean, I'm already paying you an exorbitant amount of money to play the game, and if I bought the Battle Pass, or the 2-tier Battle Pass in most instances, then why am I having to do other stuff too? So when they do it, it's really super frustrating, and it seems out of place. So even if 90% of the session is rage, the 10% of holy crap that was sick keeps you coming back. It's not fun, it's intermittent reinforcement. And intermittent reinforcement is the most addictive behavior pattern known in psychology. The identity lock-in. Gamers just don't play games, they become the games they play. I'm a Battlefield guy, I'm a Destiny guy, I'm a Tarkov rat, I'm a Souls player, I'm a COD sweat. You hear this consistently from YouTubers and streamers all the time. That's their shtick. That's what they do. They've tied and associated their identity to the game that they play, simply because either they're A, addicted to it, or B, they fall into the sunk cost fallacy. And C is, well, maybe they're just a super sweat and that's all they really want to do. They don't care if anybody likes or doesn't like it. They're just stuck. Now, that addictive personality, they're probably addicted to a few other things too. There have even been streamers who openly admitted that they were addicted to gambling. Some of the pro COD circuit guys addicted to gambling. Some of the more popular streamers even moved their sites from gaming to, well, gambling sites. So that addictive personality is still within them. They just moved the medium. So when your identity gets tied to a game, criticism feels personal. Leaving feels like you're losing a part of yourself. So players will stay, even when they're miserable, because the alternative is confronting the fact that they've outgrown something they've once loved. I think that Enders is very guilty of this. I think he's outgrown it. When he sits there and says that his streams aren't doing well because of the game, I don't think it's the game's fault. I think it's him. Honestly, in my opinion, I'm not saying this guy's bad or he's even bad at the game. What I'm saying is he's getting bored because he's outgrown it. He's maturing and he doesn't want to. I think he wants to stay into that 13-year-old brain that got him addicted to the game a long time ago. He's feeling weird about it because, well, he's outgrowing it. In a joking manner, I think his other nuts dropped and it's time to finally move on, right? And for him and anybody else stuck in this situation, well, that's very uncomfortable. And here's one for my old heads. And when I say old heads, I'm talking about the guys that are in their 30s and 40s and above now. The myth of the glory days. Every gaming community has a golden age. Battlefield 4 was peak. Modern Warfare 2 was peak. Destiny 1 was peak. Tarkov, prior to release, was peak. Gamers don't hate the current game. They hate that it isn't isn't the version that they fell in love with. So when Battlefield, Call of Duty, or any other game moves on from its original player base and starts to develop new things, new mechanics, and new understandings of the way they want to drive their game forward, the old heads get very upset. And you'll start hearing things like, I don't want the game to die, I want it to get better. And what they really mean to say is, I don't want this new stuff, I want it to look like the old stuff that I fell in love with and played. Now, when they say stuff like that, I think they're talking about how the games get manipulative and have gone from a premium service with DLCs and releases all the way to live service. And live services cost because now you have to keep teams of developers on staff consistently and consecutively. And that costs a lot of money. So what happens is the developers have to add things into the game that keep the revenue stream coming. And this is where a lot of people like Blame Truth get pissed off at the corporate side of the gaming community. Well, that's just the beast that you asked for. You didn't like the DLC stuff, so you went with live service. Now, him personally, maybe not, but the community did. And it's the beast that they didn't want to bargain with because nobody understood what that meant. And speaking of which, these corporations have investors and they have boards. Those investors and boards expect a return on revenue. So if they've committed, $40 million to build a game, they're going to want to see that plus back. That's just how economics works. And anybody who doubts it, they're probably just ignorant, or if they know it, they're just retarded then. Because if you know it and you don't understand it, that's a you problem. You can't be mad at corporate America for doing corporate America shit. You can be upset when a game changes, and I get that. I didn't like it when Division 2 came out and it wasn't the same as Division 1, but after playing it for a little while, I got accustomed to it and I really started liking it. And then right around year 6, I kind of started feeling it a little bit different way, maybe because I was just playing it for too long. And that's just the truth of the matter. Old heads, well, they're chasing nostalgia, not gameplay. And nostalgia is undefeated. You can't beat a memory. It's not possible. So you wanting to relive your glory days of COD, well, they're probably not coming back, dude, because you're getting older and the game is definitely different. It is what it is. Either you're going to have to let go of the game or the game's going to have to let go of you. And since the game doesn't give a shit, more than likely it's going to have to be you being the one that lets go. And on the creator side of the coin, the creator's feedback loop. Creators, YouTubers, streamers, TikTokers, anybody on social platforms. They often build their entire brand around criticizing the game they play. There's a lot of them out there that do it, and the audience loves it. They reward it. So negativity performs, rants perform, outrage performs. The game is dying, thumbnails all over the place, and they get a lot of views and a lot of content. So yeah, it does happen. So creators keep making negative content and players keep watching it. And the negativity becomes the culture. So when you sit there and click on something that says COD is broken or Black Ops 7 has done this, or, the whole what the fuck moment, you sit there and you see the thumbnail with people holding their head like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. One person that comes to mind is very specifically is Dr. Disrespect. Is it just a shtick, or are you really upset about how things are going? Look at Blame Truth and his Blame Wisers. He constantly beats up on COD, constantly. Like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Dude, you stopped playing the game how many years ago? Why does it matter? Move on. Do something else. You have enough followers. The algorithm knows who you are. You can change up and do some other game. Go play Arc Raiders. Go play Tarkov. Go play something else. Something you enjoy playing and you want to stream or, record and do videos on it. Or is it just that you're addicted to the rage bait? Eventually, the community becomes addicted to complaining. So the more he complains, and the more Neros complains, and the more Enders complains, and the more these big guys complain constantly, well, eventually the community becomes addicted to the complaining. The game becomes a punching bag. The devs become villains, and the players become martyrs. And the cycle, well, it just continues. It's an ever-ending loop. It's the snake that eats its tail. So why is quitting so hard? Leaving a game isn't just as simple as uninstalling it. It's leaving your friends, leaving your identity, leaving your investment, leaving your routine, leaving your comfort zone, leaving your nostalgia, leaving your community, leaving your skill mastery, and leaving your digital home. That's why gamers say they hate the game, but still log in every night. It's not about the game. It's about everything attached to it. The addiction is the problem. You can't leave it because you've invested everything into it. You've got friends here. They expect you to come back. You've put so much time into it. Your gear level, your weapon level, all of this attributes to you not leaving it. Even on occasion when a new game comes out, specifically from the same developer, you won't leave the old one. Not immediately, but you will play it. And if it seems familiar enough, such as Call of Duty or Battlefield, people will stick around. They'll just migrate on to the next new shiny thing, but they won't leave the title because they become so accustomed to it. So you're not going to see a lot of people migrate out of COD into, Arc Raiders. And you're not going to see a whole lot of people move from Arc Raiders into, Tarkov. There is some bleed over, but it's a very small, finite amount of bleed over. People typically stay where they're comfortable and where they're accomplished. And that's the problem. And since my personality is one that likes to bring solutions to the table and not just problems, we'll get into a few. Reframing the relationship. So how do you break the cycle? You don't have to quit gaming. You don't have to uninstall anything. You don't have to grow up. Allegedly. You just have to reframe the relationship. Ask yourself, am I playing because I enjoy it or because it's a habit? Or am I staying for the game or for the people? Am I angry at the game or angry at myself for outgrowing it? So once you answer those honestly, the path becomes clear. Maybe you take a break. Maybe you switch games. Maybe you play casually instead of trying to be that sweat. Maybe you stop treating the game like a job. And in doing some of that, maybe you rediscover the fun. The point isn't to quit. The point is to reclaim the agency. And once you do that, you break the cycle that the game has over you. You don't have to alienate your community to do so. You just have to reinvent the way you play, or possibly change games altogether. Some people love to hate things, and I get it. You want to be clickbait. You want the community to keep coming back for your anger and your angst. The thing is that gets dry, and people get sick of hearing the bullshit. There's too many negative posts out there and negative comments on a game being this or that. It's time to bring the fun and the positivity back to the gaming community. The industry's already set us up to hate everything and everyone around it. So why don't we bring the fun back? Make it about the community again. Make it about having fun with the boys, so to speak. So why don't we do that instead? The difficulty lies on who it is that you're following and watching, because they're the ones that are going to feed you. So as long as you keep hitting that like button and you keep subscribing and you keep following them, they're going to consistently stay on topic with the anger and the crash out. And is it really their fault or is it yours? It's hard to tell, because they're going to keep feeding that algorithm that's going to get them those likes and clicks. That's exactly what they're there for. Even though they don't make a whole lot of money at it, they're still going to do it. Something about their psyche tells them that they have to. And that's just the point of it. So in closing, gamers don't hate games. They hate the gap between what the game is and what they wish it was. And that gap is where frustration lives. Some of it's designed by developers, but a good large portion of it is self-inflicted. But that's also where growth happens. So if you hate playing a game right now, you're not broken. You're human. Just don't forget it. Games are supposed to be fun, not a battlefield you're trapped in. So don't get stuck. Break free, man. All you got to do is just figure out how to make it fun again. Maybe you try a few of these ways, maybe you don't. But as long as you're having fun, who am I to tell you what to do, right? All right, noobs. I'm going to go ahead and close this week out. So once again, like, share, comment. Hey, subscribe if you like what I'm doing here. And you know, be good or be good at it.